President Trump's legal team says it has responded to special counsel Robert Mueller's request to sit down with the president. While we haven't seen the proposal, retired law professor Alan Dershowitz thinks he knows what won't be in a deal Mueller will accept. Take a listen.
I think the tactic is emerging and is fairly clear. The president wants to testify. His lawyers don't want him to testify. So the lawyers are going to set up a series of conditions, to put it in terms of The Godfather. They're going to make Mueller an offer he can't accept.
Joining me now is Andrew McCarthy, former assistant U.S. attorney and a Fox News contributor. What do you think of Alan's point?
Well, I'm not so sure that the tug of war going on between Trump's lawyers, the president's lawyers, and the president himself, it could be more theatric than real. I think the president understands the risk that's involved for him. I'm sure on a certain level he wants to testify. I would think he also doesn't want to walk into something that could jeopardize him. So it helps him to be taking the position that he'd love to go in there, but it's the lawyers that are keeping him restrained. Well,
what happens if there is no deal, whether on purpose no deal or for whatever reason they can't work things out? Do you think it's possible that Mueller will indict President Trump?
I don't think, Dave, that it's possible that he'll indict him. Mueller is under the control of Justice Department guidance that has been in existence since the Watergate era. A sitting president will not be indicted. So the question is, will Mueller push this to the point of subpoenaing President Trump for testimony, or will it be just a situation where, like many cases, somebody refuses to cooperate with the prosecutor and you make your assessment based on the information you have?
You know, it's important to pull back at this point and just think of why it was that Mueller got his job in the first place as special counsel. It was to investigate Russian collusion. It just shows you how far we have come. Is there any doubt in your mind that it's gone from collusion to this man wanting to get the president of the United States? I know you have a lot of respect for Mr. Mueller, but a lot of people look at what he's doing and thinks he's trying to set a perjury trap for the president. He wants to get the president.
Well, a couple of different things. I think I've never been satisfied that we're sure that Mueller is hell-bent on making a case on the president. I think he is hell-bent on answering all the questions about collusion, which is what he was assigned to do. You know, the fact that the president and his lawyers are sensibly worried about a perjury trap doesn't mean that Mueller and his guys are necessarily setting one. That said, we should note that the one thing that Mueller has been able to do in this investigation is prosecute people who give false statements to people during, to the FBI and his guys during interrogations. That's happened. Right. 4 or 5 times in the investigation already.
Let's move on to Paul Manafort, whose trial is ongoing right now, and there are a couple of witnesses that have been put through the ringer by his defense lawyers. The judge, in fact, seems to be, if anything, more sympathetic to the defense side than the prosecution side by what he said. Do you think it's possible, if they don't find some kind of corroborative evidence, some smoking gun here, that Mueller could lose this one?
Well, yeah, I think in a world where there was no corroborative evidence, sure, if you're relying on somebody who's got the kind of track record that Gates has. But I think the important thing to remember here is Mueller indicted this case before he had Gates as a cooperator. All of the fraudulent activity is able to be proved and has been proved, as I understand it, by using financial records. So exactly the kind of corroborative evidence that you're talking about, he has to a fare thee well.
Okay, so he's got that thing. But a lot of people think that, like the judge has said in this case, that this has less to do about what Manafort might have done wrong than it does about squeezing Manafort in order to get President Trump, in order to get something on President Trump. If you're going to go after Manafort, if you've got the evidence to go after, why not go after Tony Podesta, who, as far as I can tell, has the same paper trail that Manafort does?
Well, I think we should be thankful in a way that if what he did with Podesta evidently was refer that case to the Southern District of New York. So it sounds like what Mr. Mueller is doing is trying to stay on task. I realize that the Manafort case doesn't have anything to do with Russian collusion as we understand it. But Manafort is obviously someone he thinks, that is, Mueller thinks, is a relevant witness. And sometimes this is the way you get a relevant witness.
Andy McCarthy, good to see you, Andy. Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate it.